Good evening and welcome to another edition of Playing from the Tips. We are here at the beautiful Harbor Hills Country Club, and we have with us the teaching pro here at Harbor Hills, Tom Lineberger, and we also have a special guest, Marc Cormier, and we're going to have Marc bring up some very interesting things about how to improve your game and how to get your body straightened out, which I could have used for the last 10 years, but I'm going to pick Marc's brain tonight. But I'll tell you what, one of the things we wanted to do is just kick the thing off is let's talk a little bit about what you got going on at Harbor Hills, Tom.
Yeah, we've got some interesting things. We're going to call it a little Harbor Hills corner of the world. This summer, we've got a par 3 challenge on July the 29th, two-person scramble, and then we've got a pasta fair afterwards. So you can get a partner, come out and play. We're going to flight it, and we've got a really nice dinner afterwards. You get to enjoy the country club. Give us a call on that one, 352-753-7711. And we also have coming up for the kids, we've got a golf and tennis program July 25th through the 29th. Give us a call on that to improve your juniors on that, golf and tennis. And then we have in the community, we also have Miss Lake County Scholarship Golf Tournament that Jackie Croft is going to head up. It's a scramble event. Money goes towards scholarships for the youth. And her number, direct, is 352-267-7043. And the date on that is Saturday, August the 20th, this coming year. Tom, so that's some of the new things we've got coming up in the next few months, and we'd love for you to come out and attend that.
Getting back to the tournament you were talking about, obviously it's handicap. Do you have to have an official handicap from a club or the course?
Yeah, well, we're going to flight it. If you don't, we're going to use the honesty method. Give us it, and we'll probably put the ones that don't have a handicap ball in the same flight, just in case they aren't honest. So all the baggers can stay together. Yeah.
Some guys plan their whole financial year. Well, I'm playing in that tournament, and by then I should have my handicap up to
That's
where
right.
I can.
I'm a 5, but now I'm a 15.
Yeah, I'm a 22 now, but last week I shot 72. So we'll see how it goes. It's never good when the net 45 doesn't win the event, and that's that's interesting. But I see you got the Troon layouts. So everybody knows the big, what do they call it? The Open.
The Open. You know what's interesting about Troon that I mentioned? They have 5 golf courses there, which I didn't know. They have 2 ladies courses. They have the old course and the Portland course for ladies, and then they have the Portland course and the old course, the traditional one for the men, and then they have an executive course, 9 holes. So that was something that I didn't know about Troon to this week, and it's interesting. The last few holes. 15 is 500 yards, 16 is 552, 17 is 222, and the 18th is 457. So they end pretty strong coming down the stretch.
Well, if there's wind blowing, though, if there's weather wreaking havoc, the scores will be through the roof. But hopefully that'll get a little. That's why I like the British Open. The first round, it's balmy and nice, and the next one, it looks like the scene from The Wizard of Oz with. Cows and houses are flying all over the place. So I think that's special.
Well, the Irish Open was on today, and actually saying that there was a few, 1 or 2 guys on the tour that were calling for the officials today because the ball was trying to blow off the green.
Oh no! Oh, I thought you were going to say it's moving again.
Another Dustin Johnson
puts the putter down.
He was like, "Hey, I can't putt. The ball's already rolling." So
at least the USGA wasn't involved. They'd have been assessing 2-stroke penalties to everybody, the caddy, whoever they could. But I'm putting that behind me.
But a few weeks ago we did the U.S. Open, right? We had to pick the winners there. I'm not sure who picked the winner, but
I did. Yeah. I'm not trying to brag, but I raised my hand and said I like Dustin Johnson.
Yeah, Tom did too.
Yeah, I would.
Is that right? Well, that's.
I picked Jordan Speed.
You picked Speed. I think you picked Nicholson, by the way.
The producer Craig Mellinger, who knows nothing about golf, picked Jordan Speed. Jordan Speed, come on. What's Jordan Speed going to win?
Here are the odds that we have right now, though. They came out. Golf Digest came up with the odds of today. Brandon Grace was 25-1. Brad Snedeker was 60-1. The comment they made on him is he missed 5 cuts this year. Zach Johnson's 50-1, the defending champion. Ricky Fowler 25-1, and he's missed 3 cuts. Justin Rose 30-1, and the comment was he's got some back issues right now. Shane Lowry was 40-1. Louis Oosthuizen, that was a runner-up last year, is 30-1. Sergio Garcia is 25-1, and he missed the cut last time it was at Royal Troon in 2004. Jordan Spieth 10-1. And the comment was that they had with him is that Jordan feels like he has to have more fun with golf, that it's too much work lately for him, I guess. And then McIlroy's 9-1, and he won the British Open last year, I believe.
Yeah.
Dustin Johnson went off at 12-1, and now his odds are down to 8-1. Adam Scott is 20-1, and Jason Day, the world number one, is 7-1. And the comment that they made on him is they feel like he's going to win because his ball flight is low.
Doesn't it seem strange? Mark, I'll bring you on this because this always surprises me. The problem with putting the odds on these guys, golf seems to be cyclical. Just because they missed the last 3 cuts, they're probably working on their game. If they find what's wrong with their game and, they get their game straightened out, all of a sudden guys that are, Zach Johnson 50-1. I mean, good grief. If I had a few bucks to throw around, and I don't do that, but if I did, I would bet on Zach Johnson. Is that big in Canada? Do they have a lot of betting on other golf events like this?
Yeah, there's a lot of betting
Is
in
that
golf
right?
clubs, and I've been to the British Open a few times, and let's say all the guy that's got a low ball has a better chance because the wind's coming strong, cold, and like you said, the ball is always rolling. But I hope the ref will.
It's like a pinball machine
Yes,
out there.
it's
it is.
terrible. Yeah, it's terrible out there.
The
And
British
it's all-
Open,
and
today.
it's
they
all
had-
like it's a British fairway, so it's always in angle, so it's very hard. And all the guys try to bring the ball up to go a little bit further, but the wind's like really tricky out there. I
And
don't wanna play that.
but a lot of them this week are playing in the Irish Open as a getting ready for the British Open. I noticed that a lot of the U.S. guys are over there this week playing, trying to get used to the wind and the roll and the bounces.
But why would they basically seed, or not seed him, but give Jason Day he hits the highest ball out on the tour. I would think he would have a real problem if he went in the British Open and started having to knock the ball down. I guess they figure he can play that game if he has to, but he hits I was under the impression that he plays the highest ball
They
out
actually
there.
got him as a low. They considered him
Is
a
that
low
right?
ball
Well,
flight.
I didn't know.
he's
The
got-
penetrating ball flight, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he can play both game, high ball and low ball.
Well,
that's why he's.
That's why he's what is he at?
He's still number one, even though he took the gas
What
tank
are the
last week.
what are the odds on him again? What odds do we have?
He's 7-1.
So okay, there's some. I'll tell you what, Jordan Spieth. Greg, you got all the money in the world. He's 10-1. You can throw $100 down there and come away
20-1.
rich. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, he went up.
20-1.
20-1.
Oh,
He went with him last year.
all right.
Last one. But you can be a 2-time loser. It's okay.
Jordan, I agree. Jordan, I would bet on him.
Would you? All right.
I would.
To Jordan, what are you picking?
I am going to pick, and I know you just said something about a bad back. I'm going to go with Justin Rose. I think Justin Rose.
I liked McIlroy. I'm going McIlroy.
All right.
He's been close on a few events, and he's gassed it a little bit on the weekends lately, it seems like, but he's due.
I think
That's my gut call.
I think he's got girlfriends. That's my personal opinion. No
One at a
offense,
time, though, right? We saw that didn't work out with somebody else.
No,
we had
that's
more than one.
exactly right. But I'll tell you what. And one thing I asked you also when we were off camera, I was under the impression that Troon wasn't like Muirfield, but I thought they were still very, very regimented on letting women be members. But good grief, if they got two women's courses, I would think that they pretty much have solved that issue. So there's obviously not a men-woman issue there. But I don't know why I thought there was. But and any updates on the Muirfield thing? What did they ever decide? And I thought they were going to make a
big deal on that one.
big deal on that. Have they ever even? They tabled it.
It's still
Well, we're not
an
getting the
issue out there.
tournament.
Yeah.
It's still a very big issue out there.
Oh, sure, it's gotta be.
Like, listen, even it's funny to hear that, but when you're left-handed, you're trying to rent some golf.
Oh,
equipment.
clubs are hard.
You
You
can't.
can't,
No,
yeah.
there's only right-handed, and women are like. I'm a French guy, so it's like prohibited, like almost not accepted in golf course.
Sure.
Before this line, the woman stays there like, whoa. It's like different in our country, really.
Well, that, like I said, I'm amazed because we were talking about this before. I think it doesn't serve any purpose to say, oh, okay, we'll let one woman in here. she can come in. Okay, now we've solved our problem. I said, well, it really hasn't solved anything. All you did was make sure that nobody can say you don't let women in anymore, but how about letting some more in? That's where the questions are going to come in. So we'll see where Muirfield decides to take it. But I don't know why I thought Troon had that, but
So, Mark, what was when you went to the British Opens that you've been to personally, what did you feel like were the keys? Obviously hitting the ball low, and I know that because I had a chance to work with McCumber that played on the British Open, and he said where the caddy told you to hit it here, you just did what the caddy told you to do, period. A lot of them just trusted the caddy. He said the ball's going to come down, hit it up on the left side of the green, it'll roll all the way back down.
Well, you see, you're pretty right what you're saying. The thing is that, like the caddy would walk the day, the course in the morning, and in the afternoon, or whenever he was going to play the player, a few hours later, the wind would change.
Right.
So even the caddy would say, listen, the last time was that place, but listen, now the wind has changed. So every hole, the wind can change. So it's so hard out there that the caddy and the pro takes the last decision for real, for sure, but it's so hard. That game there is like you're not playing the field only, you're playing the wind, the cold, the temperature. The guys were changing clothes during the game. So listen, the guys are trying to concentrate on the ball in the game, and they have, listen, I can't concentrate, I got to change my clothes. So they go back to the game. So during the game, they have to return their zone to be able to hit the ball and play the game. But it could happen up to 3-4 times. And after that, there's some rain. It's crazy out there. But like you say, the caddy says go at that place, but when they go there, the wind's not the same. It has increased, the wind's not the same. It's turning around. That's the worst wind we can see.
They also play that, depending on the course, that bump and run shot you don't see in the U.S. a lot, where they land it short and run everything up, which is a totally different game.
oh yeah, in fact, that's why I think the Americans always have a disadvantage. I'm not sure any of
I
them
agree with that.
have that. They don't have the shot like the Europeans, especially
Right.
the British Isle guys. But I'll tell you what, I see we've already come down to our first segment being over with, but we are going to get into, we've solved, obviously Justin Rose is going to win the British Open, but now that we've solved that mystery, we're going to have Marc Cormier, and he's going to tell us, I'm going to pick his brain first because I took 5 years off because I had to have my hip replaced. I picked up every bad habit in the world, and I still felt lousy, and I need him, and I need him desperately. So we'll be back to find out just what Marc can do for your golf game, and he's got a fairly impressive list of clients. So we'll be talking to him right after this.
Yeah.
We're back with our second segment of Playing from the Tips, and our special guest is Marc Cormier, and I want to tell you a little bit about Marc, and then he's going to tell you what he can do for you and what he has done for so many people. He has treated people on the Canadian Alpine Ski Team. He has treated people on the Olympic National Figure Skating Team. He's also treated a list of great hockey names, Vinny LeCavier. He's golfers like Tom Lehman and Tommy Armour, Jesper Parnevik. That's not bad. Those are fairly good names, wouldn't you say? So I think he's got something to say. I think we're all going to listen. So, Marc, tell us exactly what you're here to promote and what you do.
Well, I'm here to promote biomechanics, how to be balanced, how to be anchored, like Arnold Palmer is written in a book, and how to be stable and how to play golf without pain.
So how did you get the Palmer background? I mean, the anchor part. What got you attracted to Palmer on that? I could tell that was an issue that you
know
liked
what?
his background.
Tom Lehman and Tommy Armour III had eversion like flat foot, and they would explain to me how unstable they are with the fasciitis and heel spur, whatever. With all that, and they were explaining to me, and I think it was Tom Lehman says, you know what, Mark, read that book. It's about how to be anchored. It's by Arnold Palmer, and that was my beginning about 15 years ago. I was at the Westchester, and the more I was reading it, more the problem was similar to what we have in alpine skiing. If you're perfectly aligned, you'll get the millisecond to be on the top first guy that gets in. So usually you got one ankle coming in more than the other one. So one of the gate you cannot make as well as the other one. So you're losing millisecond on your downhill. So the millisecond takes 1 second to be out of the game. So a few milliseconds makes you first or second instead of 8 or 9. So that's what I work with 7 countries in the world towards how to get millisecond. And that's how the guy became to know my expertise towards alignment and things like that. And from a connection from the Christian people that knew Tom Lehman from my country, he asked me for my services, and I started at Winchester with the guys.
I'm reading a little bit about your background. Starting out as a technician in your father's laboratory. Now, who was he? The well-known podiatrist in Quebec? Your father, was that you?
No, my father was a very good podiatrist.
Okay.
In my,
so it's
my
well
city.
known.
Well, yes, he had quite a reputation in Quebec, but I changed a little bit. He was a podiatrist. I'm an expert in biomechanics, so we have a different feel in a way. Me, I'm not a surgeon towards feet and things like that. It's only perfect alignment and fluid motion.
Am I wrong in suggesting, and I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to ask,
Go
that the alignment's going to start with your feet, though, it would seem.
Yes, that's it. This is the bottom of your body.
Your base,
if it's not perfectly aligned, well, not perfectly, you don't want to be perfect, but like you want it to be stable and strong.
But it goes up from there.
It goes up from there.
Once you're off with your feet, then it's either your knees, your hips. If something else as you go up your body is going to be out of whack.
Yeah, that would be like a house that you have your
Foundation.
Your foundation's off. So if there's a crack up there, don't work on the crack. Make sure that the foundation gets stable and straight. After that, go up there.
Work
and
your
fix
way
it.
up and fix it.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I'm just amazed because I was I'm putting myself in the position of anybody else just watching this show where I would think, boy, you start talking about biomechanics. That sounds to me like, that sounds a little complicated. I don't know. It sounds like it's mechanical. It sounds like it's going to take a lot of work. It sounds, but tell me how you fit that in. Obviously, I can see, based on what you've told me, how it's just going to reap benefits for your golf game and your physical well-being in terms of feeling well when you hit the ball, when you swing. So I can see that, but it just amazes me that, when somebody says biomechanics, I don't think of, that's what I'm going to use to get my golf game better.
No, and the people that knows really biomechanics read the body motion when it moves, not in a stable position. Not many people that does that. Even on the PGA Tour, there's not much guys. We're pretty unique in our domain, and the guys that are good, well, they're at a pretty high level when they treat people. But biomechanics is good for everybody, for any age. Like we were on the golf course earlier with an average player and you that are an instructor.
Well, it's like from an instructor's standpoint, I always look and ask a student, I said, do you have knee issues or back issues or hand issues or your feet? I mean, what ailments do you have? I got a hip replaced, or I got a bad foot, or I've whatever issues they have, and whatever issue the individual has, a girl or a guy, their swing is going to compensate for their biomechanics, for the issues that they have in their body. So they're going to either come up, come down, they're going to straighten something, or something's going to happen. So once they have that issue, I look at it, and golfers, instructors are cause and effect. And I know that if I want to change somebody's swing, I will get with a person like you and say, all right, I've got a student that really wants to get better, but he's got issues in his hip, or he's got issues in his back or his hand, and how do we treat the issue to get it? How do we treat the body so that his swing will become more natural? So I mean, that's where the two kind of work together. Like you were saying, the golf for you on the tour, and you can hop in, is that you work with Jesper Parnevik. There may be an instructor that works with him, but you look at the biomechanics of how his body's performing, so we can get him in the right spot.
Well, you see, often I'm going to coordinate treatments because you can't do everything. And often I'm going to work as a team with another expert. Could be a chiro, could be a physio, whatever. I'm just going to bring a team to make sure that we get the result we want. So that's a bit what we want to work eventually, probably together. And make sure that the age or the issue or the physical issue the clients have. We try to fix it so they can play his game longer in his life.
Sure.
So if we use many medicine, because all medicines are good, you just have to know when to use it at the right time, so you can use many medicine. So if they're well coordinated, you get the results like really fast. If they're not well coordinated, they're going to say, well, it's the physio, well, it's the podiatrist, it's the chiro. If it's well coordinated, usually you get the results, like you get it like real fast, so you can go back to your game.
What do you see the difference between, are there obvious difference, like juniors are really flexible, ladies, flexibility usually, and then you get like Bob, the average guy
Yeah.
that can play golf, and then you have the senior. You know, Bob didn't play the senior. You're welcome.
I think that was a compliment.
I threw you a bone.
I'm gonna have to look at the tape of the show to see if that was if he dug at me or gave me a break. I don't know.
He started junior like this, I go like, come on, junior. Okay.
So what, I mean, if you've got like, you know, and I teach juniors that they're like Gumby to a certain degree, where you've got a senior that the range of motion changes, and when you address people like, do you have a thought process that you go through on that, and then then people learn differently. Like we were talking about, for me, he said I was, which I think I am more visual. I try to visualize a shot, look at it, and focus that way. Where some people are audio learners. And
Well, you see, it's not the age or the flexibility the problem we're going to have with a golfer. It's just the personal issue, like the pain he's got or the restrict motion. So you can get a kid about 20 years old that cannot go, doesn't have the backswing because of his hip. But after an X-ray and things like that, you see there's an abnormality. So let's say about your hip replacement. So now you have one.
Yeah.
So to me, it doesn't change anything. As long as I know it and I know your range of motion, I can balance your body so you have a stable swing. So you get constant, say that again?
constant consistency.
Consistency, that's it.
That's all right. I told you I'll be your translator. I'll hang
Yeah,
out.
you told me. French Canadian,
That's right.
I'm losing. So my job is to get the guy as much, say it again.
Consistency.
Yeah, that's
Consistency,
it.
I like it.
So that's what I'm trying to do. The age doesn't matter. It's just if you can get a better game. If you have no pain. So if I'm going to treat somebody who's older, well, I might ask him to do like Asian does, where I have a background in it. Let's work out and stretch in the jacuzzi. That way your body's going to be looser. After that, we'll go to the driving range, and I'll give him a routine that's going to respect his body at his age. The age, yes, has a certain issue, but it's what kind of restrict motion I have to deal with. That's more my problem.
Well, you know what, and I've already listed some of the high-profile guys that are putting some of Marc's theories and concepts to very good use. And I'm going to put you on the spot and just say, okay, I come to you and say, okay, I need help. I need help. I'm not enjoying my golf game. I think I've picked up some bad habits and I'm having real problems. I can't seem to turn into the ball. My back hurts a little bit. How do you start off when somebody comes to
Well,
you?
let's say it would be like you're coming to see me. Well, I would say, well, don't we go sit down, have a cup of coffee, and you tell me what part, when you're having. So we'll just talk a little bit before. After that, we'll go on the driving range.
Okay.
You'll explain to me what club that gives you issue, how you present yourself to the ball, how you hold your club, what's your routine, how do you warm up, what kind of shoe you have. Like if you're like overweight, about 50 pounds, you wear some very sloppy shoes. Listen, you got back issue. Let's wear some good shoes. So I'm going to start with very basic things, so you can start your game properly. After that, we'll go. If it has to be complicated, we could be. But I'm going to start very simple things, small stretch, good equipment, good alignment, just basic thing, and work well with your instructor if you have one. That would be like very good for me to work with an instructor at the same time.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're actually cliffhangers. We like cliffhanger shows. I'm going to press Mark even farther on some stuff, but we're already done with the first half of Playing from the Tips here at beautiful Harbor Hills Country Club, and we will be back with the second half right after this.
Until now, it's okay, guys?
Excellent. We're back with the second half of Playing from the Tips here at beautiful Harbor Hills Country Club. I'm with Tom Lineberger, the teaching pro here at Harbor Hills, and I'm also with Marc Cormier. And we've been we've been learning an awful lot about how your body alignment, your posture, how your footwork, how your base, your positioning, how everything feeds off itself. But we were just talking off camera about orthotics and the difference it can make in your swing and your game and how you feel. And if you wouldn't mind, we're going to have you elaborate again on that, Mark.
Well, Mark, you've got like you did with me. Is like when we went out and hit some shots. I've got my left foot rolled in. You caught that right away.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, before I hit a few shots, he goes, "Well, your left foot rolls in." He said, "You need orthotics." I go, "I got orthotics." And actually, we were talking. I've got 4 pairs of orthotics. So I've tried a bunch of different styles trying to get them. And you looked at it and go, "Well, you don't have yours are built up more for stability. And if you're unstable in your feet, then it's going to translate to instability in your golf swing."
Sure.
So,
Sure.
Yes. You see, when you got eversion, your hip doesn't rotate normally because of your alignment. So if you have a everted foot, and that's your your pivot of your body when you hit the ball, it cannot pivot because you have a restrict motion because of your leg coming in. So we have to open it, what we did with you. And that relaxes your motion. You in fluid motion. That changed your ball. You stop going this way. We had to play a bit with the hand, the grip, I mean. And your orthotics has to put your ankle in neutral position. If you don't have the neutral position, we have to cheat the foot. But don't forget, if we cheat the foot, the alignment's off, so all the articulation are not in their proper alignment, so it's out wearing fast. So I know that we're not young here, almost.
Hey, what was that?
so
all
now
about?
let
We're
me
getting cheap shots.
Hey, wait a minute.
This must be a French
Hey,
Canadian thing. I don't
Hey,
get
Bob, Junior over there, take it easy. Wait.
Jeez.
So,
I got a question on you. So
ahead.
if these are our feet, hypothetically, so this foot, with a lot of golfers, they'll start square, and then the foot will spin out. I see that all the time.
eventually, you'll see their feet are going like this.
Right. So I tell people all the time, and you told me I didn't need to open mine up more, but I tell guys, that's one of the things, the first thing I look at is their left foot when they swing, and then it spins open. They go, "I like to be here." And I go, "But your body spins it all the way to here." And I almost do the same thing you do. I put, like you did, you put, with the other young man we had,
Yes.
Chris, you put your foot on his foot and go, "Look where your foot is. It's got to stay there to start with."
Yeah.
Right. So that's just trying to get to your follow through. The more you square yourself up, the more you lock your left hip.
Yes, that's it. And that way, when you use that kind of position that I showed
Correct.
you a little bit how to do it, as you're anchoring yourself. Still going back to
Hogan used to talk about post.
Yeah, so if your pivot is stable, well, your game is going to be good. If your pivot's always moving, the instructor or nobody can help you.
Unpredictable. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, the
So
bottom of
that's
Bjork's
where
always
I was
changing.
working with him today. So we stabilize it, even if the orthotics was not doing the job that I liked it to do. So we at least compensate, but it's not a solution for long term. It's a short-term solution. At least he could play a good tournament and be fluid and relax all his tournament. So that's my job with any players, any caliber, any age, it doesn't matter. It has to be fluid. So if it's fluid, you won't hurt your back, your knee, your shoulder, whatever, because everything goes. Even if it's a short motion for the swing, at least everything is respected to your body so you can finish your day. And that's the purpose of the game.
It's like a cause and effect, though. I mean, we look at it as a cause and effect
Yes.
on ball flight or plane of your swing. but the cause and effect from a biomechanics standpoint, if there's a hip issue, it's going to cause an effect in the swing one way or the other.
Well, listen, if you would continue working your hip the way you're going, eventually your lower back's going to go off because you're open completely because your foot's coming.
See that, Bob? I got that to look forward to.
Yeah.
No, you're going to call me tomorrow.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Already, so it's okay.
Where do you get the bill? No, I'm teasing, but that's no, that's it's something that just going with what Tom just said. If you've got, I would think it would be everything you're saying makes so much sense to me, but I would think just telling somebody, well, they've got to put a different thing in their shoe or they've got to change. I mean, I think they start to think that that's really not golf. That's how do you sell that as being part of the golf game?
Well, usually when I present it, I have an instructor beside me that already has knowledge towards he's going to just tell me, Mark, listen, he doesn't know you're there. What's wrong? He's losing it. We're not doing what we were doing. The guy's not performing as he used to. So I'm going to evaluate him, and when I'm going to see the left foot always going unstable, I'm going to say, I'm going to stabilize his foot. His pivot is not stable. I think it's that. So the instructor next day is going to check the guy to make sure that all day, if his left foot was stable with the 18 holes he played. After that, he's going to come back, Mark, you're right. So he's just going to say the play. You got to try that because, and the players is going to listen to him.
So how many, saying this, I agree with you, by the way, but how many tour players, ladies, men, seniors, have you worked with in your lifetime, would you say?
I got 114 players. that
So
have worked.
114
114,
with
that's all?
orthotics in their feet for balance.
No, not all. That's
Not
it.
all.
That's about maybe 60% of
So-
them.
Okay.
Yeah.
The problem we have on the tour, it's not a problem. It's just that the guys walk from 7 to 14 miles a day. They hit about 400 balls a day. They're on their feet all the time. So the feet eventually, the
Flat.
arch goes down. When the arch goes down, you got an eversion coming in.
That's
the
what I
problem.
got. Over years,
So
too.
eventually, when they get to the senior tour, many guys already have the orthotics on, and they're just calling
It's
back.
wear and tear on the body
Yes,
over time.
That's it. It's like anything, but if you keep it straight, you'll last a lot longer. Like you have a fasciitis, your foot's coming in. I look at you, it says you're gonna have some back issue eventually if it's not your hip or knee, whatever.
Well, my lower back is,
Yeah.
I don't have the flexibility in it. Relative to other parts of my body, I'm flexible, I think. But that's probably why, though.
Well, you see, you put the orthotics on, you're straight. We give you a stretching exercise program plus reinforcement program to put your upper body that we talked about, put your shoulder, and small thing that you do about 3 minutes at a time during the day. So it's not a pain in the butt to be like doing just a little bit of exercise. I'm not asking
So
for
to
5
speak.
minutes, it's about 3 minutes. But listen, many guys on the tour at the beginning asked for 5 minutes. No way. About 15 years ago, no way. No. 3 minutes? Oh, maybe 3 minutes. Okay, guys, so we'll go for 3 minutes. So I had to condense like a reinforcement program that would, at least they would do it because they don't want to do nothing.
But you do a walking pair and a golf pair.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing I did notice is that there's two different. If you walk, that's one thing. Where if you golf, there's more movement, lateral movement. And the other thing that's different that I can say because I've got a lot of orthotics is that yours are higher, which kind of sets your heel in there and it doesn't allow it to slide.
No. So you don't.
Where a normal orthotics, you get that sliding motion. And we were talking about golf shoes. One thing I like about the foot joist shoes is you can tighten the heel down. And the reason why I like to tighten it down is because I don't want that movement in the shoe.
Yes.
Or your foot's moving. If your foot's moving, then you're losing stability. It's like a cause and effect. Well, you wagging the dog or the dog's wagging you? Well, what's your foot's moving? Rough, where's it going?
Well, you see, that's the difference. When you're doing a pair of orthotics for somebody that walks, it's a forward motion. So you got all the motion that
Right.
goes from the foot. But when you're playing golf, it's laterally, and it's only one side. So one side's got to be stabilized, but not prevent a lateral motion, but it has to be stabilized, and not prevent an eversion motion of the other foot. So the golf orthotics goes with the equipment and the shoe. So it has to be precise if you like your game that much. I love volleyball. I got my volleyball equipment that goes with my orthotics that are made that when I land, I'm about 1,200 pounds when I land. So the orthotics strong enough to hold my arch, so my back, I don't go like one size goes down because I got one lower arch, like you.
Right.
So it create a discrepancy of the legs, so you got a lower hip just by walking. So the arch got to be level, so the hips are level.
Here's what, and there's a lot of people out in the audience they're going to say this is going to make sense. If you go to a chiropractor and keep getting adjusted and adjusted and adjusted and adjusted, you can keep getting adjusted, but until you get your feet right, you're never going to get the back and the rest right. And they kind of go together. You can adjust it, but it's going to go back because your feet aren't biomechanically working correctly.
You see, often on the PGA Tour, I work I make a team, so I'm going to balance the guy perfectly, and often I'm going to have a chiro beside me or a physio to just make the perfect coordination of treatments. So you balance the guy, you can treat them, stretch them, you get the chiro to adjust the spines, so it's like teamwork.
Teamwork.
So after that, you take that guy, you bring it to the instructors. The instructor can give a very easy lesson and have a constant body that's pretty much straight. And the same way he gets to the ball, always the same way, right?
Yeah, well, we talked about,
talked about
yeah,
that
we
one.
talked about like a practice
Yeah,
swing,
we had fun.
and it's interesting. I hit some shots with Mark tonight, and when I play golf, and we were talking about a practice swing and a hit in a regular golf shot. And I gave a lesson to a gentleman today, and his practice swing was nothing like his golf swing when we went on the course. We went out and played 9 holes, and I said, well, you've got to get your practice swing like your regular golf swing. And when I play, if I'm going to hit it shot 125, then my motion is I'll take a practice swing, and I'll think about how much speed do I need to hit it 125 yards or 130 or 127. But we were talking about my driver practice swing, and I didn't have this regular speed that was my practice swing, and Mark said, hey, well, you got to stay with the process. That process needs to be consistent. Practice like you play, so your practice swing should be the same speed as you play.
To have
Which
a
is-
pattern in your head. So
Get-
you
create
pattern
a-
the energy and the
And you go back to Jordan Spieth, which I really, the modern guy that, Huckleberry Finn that everyone loves, Jordan Spieth right now, he's like the all-American boy, he gives credit to stay with the process. Don't get out. Nicholas was big about this, stay with the process. And I had a chance to work with Bert Yancey, and you said you knew Bert.
I've
Met Bert in Macomber, and one of the things that talked about the process, Bert was always big on, if you waggle the club once, then you always waggle the club once. If you waggled it twice, it's always twice, 3 times. And whatever your natural beat was, if you're a type A personality, you're probably going to waggle it once and fire. But if you walk slow, you talk slow, it took you forever to get anywhere, then you're going to be like 3 waggles and let's go. But he said your tempo in life is going to reflect your tempo of your swing. It's keep them the same.
Okay, we can hold that thought because we're wrapping up the third segment here, but this is all fascinating. We come back with the 4th edition of Playing from the Tips. I'm going to ask questions. I love to ask questions I think I already know the answer to, and then I never do. But we're going to elaborate more on this. We'll be back with Marc Cormier with the 4th edition, or 4th segment, I should say, of Playing from the Tips right after this. We are back with our 4th and final segment of Playing from the Tips here at beautiful Harbor Hills Country Club. I'm with Tom Lineberger, the pro at Harbor Hills, and Marc Cormier. And Marc has been giving us some interesting information on biomechanics and kinesiology. I threw that in because it's in your program. And is there a difference?
No, it's just kinesiology is only one medicine.
Yeah.
It's a study of the motion, that's for sure, but it's like only one medicine where you can see I'm working with a few medicines to be able to upgrade the players or play the game without pain. So kinesiology is the study of the motion. That's one of the study I had.
Well, one of the things I wanted to ask, and I know I interrupted you at the end of the last segment, Tom. Did you have some stuff that you wanted to elaborate on based on what you were saying?
Well, we were talking about when you toe your left foot out.
Exactly, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so when you toe that out, you want to make sure your hips don't get open. We were talking about that kind of, and the width of your stance. I noticed when I hit some shots when I opened my left foot out, my balance got better, but I needed to narrow my stance a little bit. And you made the comment when you open it up, you're actually widening your stance.
You see, that's why it's so easy on the tour. I have all the specialists, the best people around me, or like here I can have you, so I can have your services. As often when I change the posture, the alignment, how the guy's gonna get to his ball, well, we'll need the instructor to, hey, listen, now you're gonna change this because now you're not in the same position, your swing's not the same, your rotation, you got more range, less range, you know, everything's gonna change, but your rotation's gonna be a lot faster, so we're changing something.
Right.
So you'll need a pro to be able just to bring you back to the game you were. But you'll be better, or you'll be the same or better. You can't lose because I would have lost my job.
Well, on the tour?
Yeah,
That's right. That
one
would've been
of
a-
the guy told me once, says, "You can't make me better, but if you screw up,
You're out of here.
I'm going after you." So
Is that Jesper Barnovic? Is it,
that's not
you're
Jesper,
out of here.
I won't tell him there. It's not right.
But getting more to that point, getting back to what you were saying about, okay, so you've got some people, how often do you have to revisit them to make sure that they're, have not changed, they're not feeling any different? Do you see them, how many, often, a couple times a year? Couple times? I was just curious how you can, determine how often you should see some of your clients.
Well, you see, I don't see nobody for the same reason. So everybody's not.
So
the
it's all
same.
different, yeah.
Usually, the player or the instructor is going to know something's wrong when the guy's losing his game. That's when I should come in. But when I go on the tour, I just leave a card. I'm here if you need. So often, I'm just going to check the orthotics if they're okay. The orthotics will not change. If like many players like have them for what 4 or 5 years, it's not the way they're made. My player won't change at 35, 40 years old. The foot could change if they change sport, but we're playing golf, so
Right.
that's the golf orthotic stays. So I don't change the orthotics until the guy gives me a good reason, like pain or not comfortable, like not stable, whatever. Out of that, I just check them. When they want to see me, they have a reason to see me. So often, the instructor is going to tell me, Mark, could you look at him? There's something. So I'm going to check the orthotics, the shoe, how he swings and everything. I'll just leave him a paper. Look at this and this.
Now, do you like we mentioned about shoes, do you recommend shoes based on their motion of their feet? Do you say, hey, you need a shoe that's got
Well-
more stability or less stability? Like FootJoy, I know they got all kinds of shoes.
That's a good question.
They actually have you swing, and they, based on your pressure points, they recommend a pair of shoes if your foot's moving or not moving based on, do you believe in that theory? Kind of put FootJoy under the gun there.
Delicate, because I got a few sponsors.
Yeah, that's right. All right, scratch that.
Forget that. Edit that out, Greg. Cut that
No,
out.
but I can give good
All right,
suggestions.
okay.
It's just that if you have any back issue, any issue towards knee, back, you should have a stable shoe.
More the
So
traditional
more
leather.
very stable with a good shank in it. You see a lot of Adidas, these shoes with the shank in it, carbon shank. All shoes should have a great shank. That's the middle of the shoe for everyone that doesn't know. If it has a great shank, the shoe will not go like this and could hurt your fasciitis when you do a false step. Like when you walk in a golf course, sometimes you could, well, you could really hurt your feet. So that's what I suggest. But out of that, I'm a little bit tied up to answer any more questions.
What's
about that.
the other question I got would be, if we've talked about possibly, based on I know you've got a really busy schedule the next few months, if we set something up here and we had the people in the audience come out and want to make an appointment with you, would it take an hour? How long would it take to evaluate somebody to give them some direction on that?
take a good hour to go to, because the evaluation will be done probably on the driving range because it's going to be golf evaluation. So probably a good like half an hour, easy. And if you like, we're not talking about only golf. We're going to like issue. So they gotta know why they want to see me. I got a back issue, knee issue, feet, whatever. After that, I got something with my golf at the same time. So
Right.
we got to know why they want to see me. So often, more precise the people are, I can give them time. So it's half an hour, not an hour. We should be okay.
How about, I'm looking at a couple papers in front of me. Do you have something you want to promote in terms of, do you want to say some words about something here? I'm reading, it says, is this an enterprise that you're getting involved with?
Well, I'm launching my clinic here, working with EMED, with a friend of mine, Bill.
Uh-huh.
And the purpose of it is like I always work with team, and Bill's got a great clinic around here. So working with a good golf course, with good instructors, so I can work with a good team. So if I can make a great team, so Bill would be the place I would be working around here.
Sure.
And Tom, if he wants me to work
Absolutely.
with him, but
Okay.
Tom is a very hard man.
He's a little rough around the
He's
edges.
rough.
I
So
gotta admit.
basically, if you want to paraphrase it, if we can heal your body, we can heal your swing.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I
we
mean,
can change many things, right? We can have a better game without pain, right?
Without pain.
That would
Well, you're
be-
talking about Tommy Armour. No offense to Tommy Armour III, but he looks like he has never had a day of exercise in his life. I mean, he looks like he's lived a pretty good social life.
Too much social. Yeah, the best. He's
Yeah.
up there, guys. Nobody beats that.
It's
guy.
just-
Well,
he
how
looks-
is-
he looks like he's had a few nice dinners.
Yeah, but you know what? That guy stretches a lot.
Oh, okay,
Trains
there you
a
go.
lot.
Now you're talking.
But it's a very easy training and easy stretching, but he's doing it. So he's ahead of a lot of people that's not doing it. How many people you play golf with them? I got a back. They're not doing nothing with it. He's got back issue. He takes care of it. He does it, but he's having a great life. Well, listen, he will have a great dinner with a nice wine, beautiful ladies. He's got no
Yeah,
problem
problems.
with that. He's all normal. So.
Well, see, that's interesting because I see guys like that, and I suspect there's a few on the tour. They don't look like they're real physically fit, but they must be doing something right to take care of themselves. And I think you just touched on it. Yeah.
Oh yes, yes. Many guys it's like you can't compare any players almost. But I remember I went on tour. It was at TPC in Jacksonville, Sawgrass. I was with Carlo Franco. So I went with a few Spanish, and there's Sergio, and I'm on the putting green talking. He said, "Oh, let's meet tonight." So I'm going to a little bar. So they go, "Let's go to the cigar bar." Listen. I don't know how they do it. They spoke a full night with a cigar bigger than your mouth. Like, listen,
And then walk the next
I'm
day.
used to go with guys that plays like adrenaline runs, like all like, so they don't smoke much. I'm a full night with these guys with the big cigar.
Yes.
They're killing me, and I can't see only the cigar coming out. I'm like, and tomorrow you're playing golf.
Go. Yeah.
I know how you do it, guys. You're good.
But the point is, they picked up your message.
Yeah,
Sounds
they
to-
picked it.
while they're doing that, they're looking at your list. I'll tell you.
You also worked with Daly and Freddie too. You said both
well,
of them.
Freddie Daly, well, I didn't.
Well, you
want
tried to,
him.
but Daly was like.
I was too much trouble.
Yeah.
Exercise is not.
He doesn't want to
No, I was going to say that.
But he did have the back issues. You said Daly with his
Well,
swing,
he had a
He
back
has to.
issue, but he did the.
but he didn't want the exercise. He said.
No, he goes in the trail and they stretch him. And he's a good guy. He's easy going, but he's not an exercise guy. That's
Right.
it. It's like Freddie. We try to work his back. He loved the acupuncture from LA, and you know what? It's easy, and if it's working, the guy's still like doing on the PGA and the.
Oh,
Senior
champion.
He's
Right.
playing both tours. Yeah, that's right.
He's got records everywhere, and he's still like.
And his
just
swing still looks good.
And America
It's
still
really
loves
good.
him, man. He is the
Yeah.
sweetheart of a lot of people. They still love Freddie.
Great golf
He
swing.
is.
Love it.
He's a favorite in Quebec. It's like that guy's coming in. Everybody wants to see that guy.
So what was it, changing sports for 2 seconds, the hockey players and the golfers? I know you did the Penguins, they won the Stanley Cup, and you did Vinny Cavalier, and
Yeah.
what were the issues? Because hockey, I played hockey as a kid up in New York, so I grew up on skates, and the hockey motion, hockey players can hit a golf ball normally, they hold the angle
Sure
real
they
good.
do.
Oh, yeah, well, you got a natural
Swing.
swing.
Swings
so.
there, yeah.
The thing I could say that was a little bit similar, that the guy would say, Mark, every time I'm trying to pass a guy on the left side, I'm missing a millisecond, so I
You
cannot.
can't push off.
Yeah, yeah.
So, same thing as you, 1 foot coming in, one straight. So we put
You
it
insulting
straight.
me
and
again?
the same- I got both of them.
See, he doesn't even have to see you play hockey, and he knows what your problem is already.
So I guess you were going on one
I had to
side
play
because-
defense because I couldn't catch the rest of them. I did hold on. Take him into the boards. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I know we're running out of time, but before we run out of time, I've got to ask Mark, what do the Canadians need to turn it around? Come on.
I think they did the right thing. They're changing everything around. They're changing the team now. I think changing the captain was hard at the beginning, but how they explain how they changed the defenseman, it makes a lot of sense. We have more control and everything. The guy people has more respect. He's not like Subban at all.
Subban, yeah.
PK.
Yeah,
He's
PK.
not-
Ooh, he's an
so they're
enforcer.
great players, both of them, but they're different. So they say it's going to help the team to go straight and consistent as to have him as a captain compared, maybe not as captain, we don't know yet.
Well,
But
you lost your goallie last year. That was huge, though. Your
That's-
goalie got
no,
hurt.
that was huge. Shouldn't have affected him that much, but it did. It did
Well,
make
the
a
light
big-
went on a lot more.
Yeah, that's for sure.
it helped the lightning.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
went up there, we went like
right
this.
there.
Well, there, you just got not only did you get great tips on biomechanics, but you get a hockey analysis on the Canadians. What show can you see that in? I'll tell you what show you can see it in, Playing from the Tips. I want to thank Marc Cormier very much for being our guest, and of course Tom Lineberger, the head pro here at Harbor Hills. And I want to thank all of you for joining us, and we will back next week. We will be back next week with
I'm not
another
sure about you,
edition
Bob.
of Playing for the Tips. And if I get insulted one more time, maybe somebody else will be in this chair. But thanks so much for paying attention, folks. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, man.
That was good. That was-
I was going to ask you about Sue. You jumped again. You got back. You beat me to the punch.
Oh, no, when you did that, the province stopped breathing.